I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop. ScoutCrafter asked us if we could dress up a clamp. Well, I do antique tools. Some of you guys do the new stuff, and that's all cool. I like new tools also. But these antiques are kind of neat. They got a special thing about them. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to take this old clamp that I don't have a name on. All it's got marked on it is 3, and I'm assuming that is the dimension of the clamp because that's the size clamp it is. It says 3. And on the opposite side it has B. Near as I can tell, it's BGSO 3. Don't know what that means. BGSO. Must be an acronym for something. And I'm not really good with those alphabet soup things. So unless it's something obvious, like it says Stanley or Columbia, I really don't know. But what we're going to do is we're going to clean this up and then make it look pretty. So the first step to that process is to, make sure that everything works. Uh-oh. Now that's going to be a problem. So how do I fix this? Now let's see. I could glue this together. That's probably not going to last very long. I might be able to solder it together. But lead solder, even though it's pretty solid, isn't going to be enough to handle the strain that this puts on a joint. Silver solder. Yep. Good old silver solder. I bet I can do that. But first, I got to get this cleaned up, and I want to pin it. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do the pinning. But you can't fix it if you don't get started. With a 4-jaw chuck, I'm able to capture this irregular shape by clamping the 2 wings in these outer jaws and then holding the shank with these 2 inner jaws. I'm able to grip it, hold it in center, and still drive it. That lets me put a hole right there in the end of that thing. So that's what we're going to do now. The screw itself is bent, and I probably will have to do some straightening on that after I get it put back together again. I don't want to damage this end because that end right now is a perfect made-up for this. They go together just perfect. The grain matches. It's just one of those rare occasions when it actually fits back on with no damage. So I'm going to drill the end of this, and then I'm going to chuck this up and drill this one. And plug in the lathe. Before starting the lathe, of course, we're going to go through and make sure all the parts are clean and that bearings have been oiled. Okay. Things moved around when I tightened up the chuck. Optical illusion. It's just the screw thread tricking my eye, making it look like it's off center. Here's what you get for thinking. I thought since this one was shorter and round, it was going to be easier to center up. Turns out that's not really true. I spent an inordinate amount of time trying to get this thing to run semi-straight. I finally got it, but it wasn't easy. Because I couldn't exactly center the hole in the end of the shaft, I decided to go with a loose tenon. The pin's going to be in there, but it's not going to be a drive fit. The solder will fill in the gaps around the pin and hold it in place. The pin will just be there to add some reinforcement to the joint. With that loose pin in there to keep them aligned, I can use the frame of the clamp as a fixture to hold them in alignment while I silver solder that. For that, I'm going to use the acetylene torch. Now that I have the threaded shank on this clamp drilled and pinned with a loose pin, it's not a fixed drilled, tightly driven in pin. It's just a loose, what they call a loose tenon, and that will help me to add some strength to this because it's a cast screw. I don't think it's cast iron, I think it's cast steel, but it's a cast screw. So it's not very sturdy. And I want to give it all the benefit I can because it's already proved that it will break once. That's more than likely somebody was trying to do too much with it. With these wings, you really can't get enough pressure on there with just your fingers to make the thing snap. So somebody probably helped it. Back in the old days when I was starting out, people didn't always have all the tools that they wanted to use. So rather than using a 4-inch clamp, which they didn't have, they would go out in the shed, grab a 3-inch clamp, then take their Ford wrench, put it on the wings of the handle, and tighten it down. That led to this thing that you see here, where the shank is broken in two and your clamp is no longer worth anything. We're going to change that. If you have any suggestions for a new video, questions about today's video, or any of the other videos on the channel, just drop a note in the comments. You know I read them all. Thanks for watching.